The following program was paid for by federal national funding. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff, management, and advertisers of WMTR. It is always advisable to consult a professional before making a major life or financial decision. Welcome to WMTR's Sound Advice. It's 65th Hour, Mondays from 7:30 till 8:30, right here on WMTR. And here's your host, Theodore Tracey.
You are listening to the 65th Hour, Mondays with Theodore Tracey, the voice for senior solutions. Welcome to my live show every Monday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., right here on WMTR 1250 AM. Today, my friends, I want to take a moment to introduce myself to you and why I'm so passionate and on fire to share with you this critical and valuable information about the next stage of your vibrant years and how we together can maximize them by you having the right information and knowledge to make the most enlightened and educated decision concerning the next journey in your life. Over the next 12 weeks, we will be discussing a number of very valuable and beneficial topics to help you ease your stress relating to health and financial issues by having the best sources and information available to you on each of these topics. Starting this week, we will also open up a Q&A where people can call in. We will then choose the best of these questions to help benefit and educate you on all these concerns in each of these categories. We welcome you to also email us at info@federalnationalfunding.com to tell your story and ask questions and concerns. Call in at 973-267-9687. That's 973-267-9687. My friends listening here tonight, my name is Theodore Tracey, and I am Senior Vice President and Managing Partner at Federal National Funding. I have been in the medical, health, and financial industry for over 20 years. I have an extensive range of experiences which my practice focuses on, such as helping families deal with financial burdens when one enters a nursing home or assisted living facility. I am also covering subjects such as Medicare, financial issues, and temporary care, advising clients on final stage planning, also crisis Medicaid long-term care services, long-term care insurance, veteran benefit entitlements. Then, my friends, we go all the way to real estate finance, property casualty insurance, and life insurance. It doesn't stop there. My passion for what I do is what gets me up in the morning. I have also been conducting educational workshops concerning senior veteran benefits, Medicare temporary care, and Medicaid long-term care. One of my passions, my friends, is to educate the senior community and all of you about government benefit issues when a family member has a need for long-term care. Now more than ever, this information needs to be shared with all of you. Due to the extensive amount of changes that are occurring right before our eyes concerning all these matters, and even more important, where all your children, friends, and family need to be more aware to prepare properly for the next stage for their loved one's life, even including their own. There is a lot involved to all this in the early stages before it becomes staggering and very stressful. That is why I'm here to talk to all of you tonight and the next 12 weeks, so we can follow up face to face and sit down individually so I can go over with you in detail everything you need to be comfortable with moving forward. This is my goal for all of you and everyone you know in your life. Tonight's topic will be Medicare options turning 65. In the following weeks, topics such as caretaking for seniors, little-known benefits for senior veterans, Medicaid, final stage planning, home, car, mortgage, and life insurance, Social Security benefit options, senior placement, relocation, senior independence, nursing care at home, and so much more. My friends, I would now like to really dig into our first topic, Medicare options for seniors turning 65. I would now like to introduce to you my producer, Ms. Dianne Wesley. The lines are open and we have questions coming in. Dianne, how are you tonight?
I am fantabulous. And that just feels so good because the lines have been open and the questions, Theo, that people are asking are truly important. And I think it's really going to benefit all our listeners here. So the first question that was asked is, can you please fill us in more on what is going on with these options for seniors turning 65 with Medicare?
Yes. First, I'd like to just define what Medicare is.
Okay.
The Medicare insurance program is a federal insurance program for people age 65 and older, and one if they're younger and they're receiving disability income for at least 2 years. All right?
That's interesting. Okay.
There is a 7-month enrollment period, all right? That is 3 months before your 65th birthday, the month you turn 65, and then 3 months after your 61st birthday.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, when one has their birthday, you would definitely enroll 3 months before. And then if you do not enroll at that time, you would be open to penalty period.
Okay, explain about the penalty period, because I think most people think it's just open enrollment for a whole year, and that's not correct.
Yes, well, what it is that in addition to having that 7-month window, okay, you also have an annual open enrollment period, and that's every year from October 15th to December 7th. And meaning the fact that, getting into the penalty period, you have a certain time period to enroll in the Part B as well as the Part D. And with the Part B, and I would like to get into the various parts of Medicare. Let me first touch on that first. I mean, we have...
Okay, we have a question. Another call came in, and they were talking about Part A. Totally confused. And if you could lay that out real clear, I think this would really benefit our listeners here tonight.
Yes, well, Part A, it actually covers the hospital stays.
Oh, okay.
You have a $1,300 and $1,340 deductible.
Okay.
Okay. So for the first 60 days, there is no cost, but you are responsible for that deductible. And what that means is you are actually coming out of your pocket $1,340 before the Part A becomes active.
Okay.
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 After those first 60 days, okay, which there is no cost, for days 61 through 90, the participant would be responsible for a copay of $335.
So you were talking, Theo, about this 60 days over lifetime. Can you please explain that?
Yes. What it is that when one stays into a hospital and their stay exceeds 90 days,
oh, wow.
Okay, that person would be responsible for 100% of their costs. What Medicare is allowed, they have what they call lifetime reserve days. And the copay for those days is $670. The interesting fact is they give you only 60 days. So at those 60 days, you're actually paying a copay of $670, so you're not being responsible for the excessive costs.
So excessive costs that could go into the thousands.
Absolutely, without question.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yes. Another fact which I definitely would like to bring to our listeners, they do have what the Part A does cover, which is a lot of misconceptions. The Part A does cover skilled nursing stay. And what that allows is if one is going into a nursing home or needs some, going into a rehab center. There's a lot of misconceptions about that, but there is a trigger period. One, in order to actually get that benefit, it is triggered by a 3-day stay in the hospital. The first 20 days is at no cost to the participant. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because that Part A actually covers the first 100 days. The first 20 days is free.
Okay.
All right. For the days 21 through 100, there is a copay of $167.50 per day. Okay.
Oh, wow.
When it exceeds 100 days, that is when the participant would be responsible for all costs.
That's a lot. That's
Absolutely.
A lot.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we just had another caller, and I guess this kind of segues into what we're talking about. With Part B, they're concerned about their physicians, the durable, like you have equipment, outpatient services, and there's so many more of those sometimes than even just the hospital stay. So how is Part B different from Part A?
Okay, well, what it is now Part B does cover your medical insurance, your doctor visits, your durable medical equipment, your outpatient services, including physical and occupational therapy. When one retires or is going into retirement or becoming of age 65, becoming Medicare eligible, there is a window period in terms of enrolling in Part B. For this year, 2018, that premium is $134 per month.
And that's solid. That stays like that
That
per
stays
month.
just like that. You can either have it come directly out of your Social Security check, or you could pay for it yourself. But either way, that is responsible, and it is based upon your income. So if your income does not exceed $85,000, the person would pay $134 per month. If your income does exceed $85,000, the next threshold would be $187.50.
And that's per month, just like
correct.
the other one would be.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, one important fact that I like to bring to our listeners is the fact that you do have a certain window to enroll in Part B. And if you do not take advantage, you'll be susceptible to penalty. Okay, that penalty is 10% of the premium. And now mind you, that's
a lot.
Absolutely. And this is not just a one-time or penalty. This is an ongoing penalty that is going for the life of you having Medicare. So this is why...
Oh, that's crazy.
Absolutely. This is why I often tell people that are currently employed, if you do not need Medicare Part B at that time and you have credible coverage at your employer, it makes sense to delay enrolling in the Part B, because why double dip? Why pay the extra money if you're getting that credible coverage from your employer?
That makes sense.
Absolutely. And then also, as I said before, I mean, it's a substantial penalty period, and it's ongoing.
That's amazing information. And we had another caller coming in, and I think this is really starting to make sense. That's what people are saying, that this is very informative, and we're so happy you're here, because this is stuff no one knows about. No one tells you this stuff. It's not like in a handbook. You have to learn it and look it up, and sometimes that's not even clear.
Okay, well, first of all, I would definitely like to go over the various parts of Medicare. I think we need to start off there.
Okay, we had a caller come in, and the big question of the night is, what is the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplements? Because if we can take Medicare Advantage and just really dig in and go over every detail, and then we'll go into the Medicare supplements, I think this is going to benefit our listeners in ways they never thought, and then they can write things down and have a clear understanding. Okay?
Okay. Well, I think first of all, before we can really discuss the Medicare Advantage and the supplements, we first really have to identify the various parts of Medicare. All right. You have the Part A, which we previously discussed, which covers your hospital stay. We have the Part B, which does cover your physicians, your doctor visits, things of that nature.
Yes.
You have what they call Part C, and that falls under the Medicare Advantage plan. And what the Medicare Advantage plan does, it incorporates A, B, and D. And when we talk about Part D, we're speaking about prescription costs. So that is the nice benefit of the Medicare Advantage, because it really incorporates everything. And definitely based on your financial situation, it can be more reasonable in terms of expense.
Okay, we had a caller wanted to ask this question. Is the Medicare Advantage, does that cover in-network, or is it only, if it's out-of-network, can they still use the Medicare Advantage plan?
Yes, you can most likely. Normally, Medicare Advantage plan, you are restricted to your network, unless you have a plan which they call the HMO POS, and that is a Medicare Advantage plan that will allow you to go out of network. But normally, on the whole, when you're dealing about Medicare Advantage plan, you are restricted to your network. So I often say people, if you are considering enrolling in a Medicare Advantage, first and foremost, you want to make sure that your doctor is part of network. Without question, because it doesn't make any sense. And then again, you want to look at your finances and just to see, if that's comfortable for you in regards to your budget.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Now, a caller just asked, and I love this because we're really getting some really fresh information back and forth, and even for the questions because they're right on point. What about their deductibles and also their copays in this Medicare Advantage plan?
Well, when you're speaking about your Medicare Advantage plan, once again, with your Part A, you have a $1,340 deductible. And what that means is you're actually coming out of pocket $1,340 before the benefit kicks in. With the Part B, you have a deductible of $183. And that, again, you're coming out of pocket before Part B coverage takes place.
Oh, wow.
So this is the reason why we're here this evening, to really discuss what we can do or what we can propose in terms of compensating for these costs. Because as Medicare, as everyone probably is familiar, Medicare only covers 80%.
Oh, wow.
of the costs.
Okay.
So there's a shortfall there, a shortfall of 20%.
And can we discuss that shortfall? We'll discuss that later. But one other question, we just had another call coming in. So you're saying that unless they have a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement plan, then they're really paying a lot out of pocket if they don't set that up at the same time they have the A and B? Is that what you're saying?
Well, definitely. I mean, you are open to excessive costs because, as I said, you're only covered to 80%. So there's only what you're going to do. You're going to either handle it out of pocket yourself, or you're going to establish some type of coverage to pick up those costs. And the way we propose picking up those costs is either by way of a Medicare Advantage plan or a supplement. When I'm speaking with clients, I often ask them, what their budget is, how is their health. I often say that if they're reasonably healthy and resources are limited, sometimes it makes sense to pursue the Medicare Advantage plan. If you have substantial issues concerning your health, then sometimes you want to consider the Medicare supplement. Okay. And the positive point about the Medicare supplement, it allows one to go to any provider that accepts Medicare.
Oh, that's beyond exceptional information, Theo, because if you have had a relationship with your doctor and all your extended doctors for all your special needs, that speaks volumes. They feel comfortable. Half of life is feeling comfortable, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in contact with clients. They've been with their physician for years, and they don't want to change.
No, they don't want to change. They want to feel like they should be entitled to have the same doctors that they've had because they know them. They feel comfortable with them. They trust them. So then the difference between the Medicare Advantage, can we go into the Medicare supplements, because it sounds like that seems like a better way, and if you can explain that to our listeners?
Yes. Once again, the Medicare supplement is a insurance program that will take care of that shortfall. There is going to be a cost to that, a monthly cost, but it is the most comprehensive coverage you can get.
In what capacity? In
regards to, picking up your copays, dealing, when you go visit your doctor, in terms of handling your copays, if you go into the hospital, those copays I had spoken about, that $167.50 for the days 21 through 100, your supplement plan would pick up that cost.
That's a good thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely is more flexible. It is your most comprehensive program. But one thing I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, which people are not aware of, because and of course, it makes a lot of sense. We're all shopping to get the best plan and the best cost, the most inexpensive cost. But one thing you have to keep in mind, when it comes to Medicare supplements, the plan, in regards to the plan, whether it be, and this is getting more, Plan N, Plan F, Plan C, and all these plans differ in terms of the coverage. But one thing that does not differ, in which you need to understand this, these programs are state regulated.
Oh, wow.
So as far as the benefits is concerned, the benefits can't differ. So if you're going to one insurance company and you have one plan N with one insurance company and a plan N with another insurance company, the benefits can't differ. The only thing that can differ is the cost.
Okay, and that's when they can come and sit down with you and go over all this so that they get everything they need and they feel very safe and secure, being able to keep their doctors, knowing they're covered under all kinds of conditions and unforeseen conditions. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, what I do is when someone sits down with me, we're basically looking at their entire situation, taking in consideration their finances, their health, and things of that nature. And then what we do is we do a very comprehensive breakdown of the various plans and the insurance companies, because we just don't deal with one specific carrier.
So you have a lot of different carriers for everybody's individual needs.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Because as I said before, the only difference is cost. So if one insurance carrier can give it to you at a cheaper price, you're going to do that.
Right. If it's comparing apples to apples, basically.
That is correct.
Oh, beautiful.
That is correct.
Oh, this is so super. And okay, we had another caller coming in, and I think a lot of people really need to know this information. They asked about state and federal programs. Are there any available that they could look into, or you could explain to them when you sit down with them?
Yes, absolutely. In my experience, a lot of people are not aware of the various government programs that are there to assist them with some of the costs. Number one, they have a program called SLMB.
And what does that stand for?
That acronym stands for Specified Low Income Medicare Beneficiary.
Oh.
And what that is a state program that if your income does not exceed $1,356, that Part B premium can be waived.
Oh.
Okay, so that's another nice benefit. And one thing I just wanted to bring to the attention to the audience, which I did not make you aware of, when regards to a Medicare supplement, that does not include prescription coverage. So in addition to, if you find that Medicare supplement is more advantageous to you, you will need an additional prescription coverage.
Oh, wow.
And national average right now for prescription coverage is about $35. And then what I would also like to stress, there is a window in terms of enrollment for that. And then if you do not take advantage of that window, you would be susceptible to a 1% penalty.
That's a lot.
Yes, it roughly works out to be about 30 cents.
Yes.
But what needs to be, is the cost. You may see it may be minimal, but over time, depending on when you did not enroll, as I said, that penalty would be for life.
That's crazy. And also, if anybody has a lot of needs and issues with their health, and then they're paying a fortune for all those medications, that they really need to be aware of this. And another caller just asked, with the Medicare supplement plan, what about the copays and deductibles in relation to that? Because it sounds like that's more complete, if I'm right. Am I right, Theo?
Well, it's both plans are complete per se. Both plans are complete. It really depends on, when you're talking about Medicare supplements, it's more comprehensive. And then based on that, you also require an additional prescription plan.
Okay.
But one thing I know you had mentioned, about government programs. There is a government program that does assist with prescription, and that is what they call the LIS, and that acronym stands for Low Income Subsidy. And remember when I said that one would be susceptible to a Part D penalty if you do not take advantage of that window of opportunity?
Yes.
One way, which is not very common and familiar to our listeners, and definitely in terms of people that I meet with on a daily basis, is that there is one way to have that penalty removed, and that is actually enrolling into that LIS program. That is one way to have that penalty stopped.
That's impressive, and I think that is very important to our listeners, because when you combine all these different programs and everything you need and all the expenses you need to cover yourself, and the fact that there's these penalty times, and you absolutely cannot let that slip, or you're going to be penalized basically for the rest of your life. Am I right?
That is correct. Okay. But one thing we have to do, and one thing that we try to do, is try to let everyone be aware of different resources and programs that would assist with some of those costs. Another state program that will assist with the prescription costs is called the PAD.
Okay, can you explain that in more detail?
Absolutely.
We just actually had a caller right in, ask that same question. So that's great because, when you're informed, then you can make the correct decisions. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Knowledge is power, without question. That acronym PAD stands for Pharmaceutical Assistance to the Aged and Disabled. That is a state program that does assist. If you have, say, for instance, you have a preferred prescription, brand name prescription, and you're paying $100, $200, that program would allow you to only be charged $7.
That's impressive.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then also it does allow for a generic brand to be only charged $5.
Oh my.
So and then of course there is an income eligibility limit on that. For an individual, your income cannot exceed $22.65 per month. If you happen to be married, your income cannot exceed $27.77. But and then if your income does exceed that, they do have another a partner program called the Senior Gold program.
Oh, please explain that.
Yeah, that is a program that, if your income does exceed that level, it is not as advantageous as the PAD, but it does allow some discount. Roughly, I think it's roughly about $15 plus maybe about 50% of the cost. But it's a program that if your income exceeds those numbers for the PAD, that you can, definitely, take advantage of the Senior Gold program.
And this is something you can also, when they sit down with you, you can go over in more detail, because it sounds like there's a lot of elements to all of this, correct?
Yes, without question. I mean, one thing that we do, we're not sitting down with you and just pushing certain programs, things like that. What we're trying to do is we're doing a full assessment. Anything that I do speak with clients, strictly confidential, but we will do a full assessment to see what government benefits you are entitled to, and let you know different things that could help you with your costs, because that's what it's all about. During our retirement years, it's all about saving money, and that's what we're trying to assist with.
And I've just been told that we got to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, and you have been listening to Theodore Tracey and Dianne Wesley here, WMTR 1250, every Monday, p.m., 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., right here. Make sure you spread the word. Tell your friends and your family and loved ones. We really want to inform you. Thank you so much for listening.